All right, in this video, I'm going to cover why you may not want to install a polyurethane rear motor mount on your Fiesta ST and what the alternatives are for an upgrade over the OEM rubber unit. So I got three motor mounts in front of me: the stock unit, the Whoosh Street Spec rear motor mount, as well as the Vibra Technics rear motor mount, which is a rubber. The problem with the Fiesta ST, it has kind of a unique problem with the polyurethane rear motor mounts. And this is especially true if your softer polyurethane rear motor mounts, which cover basically your Cobb rear motor mount, your Montoon, and your Whoosh Street Spec. Whoosh also has like a track/race spec, which is a heavier rated bushing, which of course is going to give you more vibrations in the cabin, but is a more firm bushing that is less likely to have this problem. So the problem with polyurethane is the heat. So there's two companies that make an alternative. One is CPE and Vibra Technics. Now I'm going to use some of the wording that CPE uses that they describe quite well on their website. If you want to check it out, the CPE or rear motor mount for the SST, they say polyurethane starts to have issues at around 200 degrees, and that due to where the rear motor mount is located on this car, basically it's very close to the catalytic converter / downpipe. Actually, part of the bracket actually connects to the catalytic converter / downpipe, and it gets a lot of heat soak in that area, and that heat softens that polyurethane, and you have all that force being applied to that polyurethane. It's soft, it heats up, and it gets stretched out, and that stretching out either can make the mount tear, or sometimes it doesn't even actually seem to really do any visual damage. It just stretches out the hole a little bit, and now you have some slop in it, which is what the whole thing you were trying to prevent to begin with. So it leaves you with two choices: the CPE mount, which they say uses EPDM, which is just a type of rubber, and the Vibra Technics. Vibra Technics has been around for a very long time. I believe they are over in the UK or someplace in Europe. I'm not sure. I know they're not. I don't think they're an American company at all. They're priced well, they're rated really well, and they cover all three motor mounts for the SST. But really, the only issue with the mount, probably with the polyurethane, is probably going to be the rear motor mount, just because of the location. The reason why most manufacturers use polyurethane over using some type of a rubber is it's just a more expensive production. It just costs more money to produce than polyurethane, where you can simply make a casting. You have your bushings, the bushings go in one side versus the rubber actually requires, I guess, injecting that rubber in. I'm not quite sure, but the claim is that it costs significantly more money to produce the rubber ones in a manufacturing standpoint. The reason Vibra Technics only uses rubber, as they claim, is because of the reliability and durability. So we're going to cover all three mounts. This is your standard stock rear motor mount on your Fiesta ST. Here's a Whoosh one. By the way, I have a video about this. I think I made a few years ago. Getting a really good view. It really helped pull the slop out, but it has started to stretch out. And really, where I've noticed it stretch out. Some guys have had issues where it gets so stretched out. This actually falls out entirely. This is still in there really firm in my bushings. I mean, I would really have to pull on that to get it out. Some guys have really had it just fall out. But here, this is a lot looser than it used to be. In the past, I couldn't have just slid that out so easily. But this here on mine has oblonged a little bit. Got a little more oval. It has started to stretch out. And I can definitely feel it in the shifting for sure. Nothing against the mount itself. It's just an issue with the Fiesta ST. And it gets so hot down there, these mounts get soft and stretch. I won't be able to give this Vibra Technics one as fair as a review because I have since also upgraded my passenger side engine mount. That's the mount that actually connects to the engine, to an upgraded unit, versus when I did do the test with the Whoosh motor mount, I had none of the other mounts upgraded. So I can't really give it as fair a review because that upgraded passenger side engine mount has helped with torque steer and some of the other issues as well, reducing just some of the slop in the engine movement. So then we got the one I'm going to install today, which is the Vibra Technics unit. And as you can see, sure enough, rubber. It's a rubber mount. You can't slide this in and out. It's basically just, in there. And you have a little bit of rubber in this area as well. So I'm going to weigh all of these. We're going to see what these guys weigh. I have a feeling that the stock mount is probably actually the lightest. We'll just do it in grams, I guess. So let's go to grams. Stock mount is exactly 600 grams. Exactly 600 grams. The Whoosh Street Spec mount, 977 grams, so 50% more. And the Vibra Technics unit, 751. Do that again. 751. 979. So overall, the factory mount is the lightest. This is no surprise if you hold it. It's very light. Has very little weight to it. There's probably an aluminum cast. I mean, it's very little weight to it. This actually feels kind of heavy, but it's also small. It's very dense. The Whoosh is obviously a fairly big mount. It definitely feels the heaviest. So, all right, I'm going to get this on the car, this Vibra Technics mount, and finish up a few other things. I'll give it a drive and kind of give my what I think of the mount. Right now, some of the issues I'm having a little bit of slop in the shifting, especially first to second. You can feel the little bit of engine movement. Since I've upgraded the other mount, it has tightened stuff up a little bit. But before I had upgraded that mount, I definitely could notice that this was starting to deteriorate just a little bit with some extra movement. The whole idea of where I even got this from was actually on the forums. Someone had actually mentioned maybe that these polyurethane mounts aren't the best idea. Sure enough, he pulled his off. He had some stretching in it and went to a different mount, and he noticed quite an improvement. And a lot of people have had issues with the monotube mount actually just ripping and tearing the bushing out entirely. So this may be the way to go with the Fiesta ST, is go to a upgraded rubber style mount that is not going to be destroyed by the heat. And like I previously said, this probably will not affect some of your stiffer polyurethane rear mounts, especially like your race or track spec, which are much more firm and are probably not going to soften up nearly as much and be more likely, it won't stretch nearly as easily. Anyway, let me get this on and I'll give you my impressions of does it improve the shifter feel and also what the vibrations are. All right, so I just got done doing a test drive. One thing I forgot to mention is the Vibra Technics mount comes in two different versions. You have the Fast Roads mount and the competition. I have the Fast Roads version. That is the more street spec version, Fast Roads, and then competition is more of the race version, which is going to be a little bit more firm, a little bit more stiffer, but will add more vibration. I don't really feel like I can fairly compare this to when I did the Whoosh rear motor mount, as I didn't have any other upgraded mounts at the time. This time I do have an upgraded passenger side engine mount, so it's not a true comparison. But overall, it doesn't seem like it's really adding any more vibrations than what I had. Shifting feels just fine, just as what you would expect with an upgraded rear motor mount. No problems. Wouldn't necessarily say it's better comparing to like what the Whoosh was when it was brand new to this being brand new in shifter feel. But the reason we went with this mount is the fact that it's made of rubber and it's going to hopefully give that long-term durability and reliability. It's not going to have that issue of stretching out. So to summarize it, if you have a Fiesta ST and if you really want to go with the more street spec, softer motor mount upgrades, really think about doing something other than the polyurethane. So either go with the CPE mount or the Vibra Technics Fast Roads mount. Once you get to like the really firm, more like race spec, I think it becomes a little more of a complicated discussion, because those mounts, yeah, they're still going to be that heat's not going to be good for that bushing, but due to they're so much firmer and much harder polyurethane, they're not going to have that problem as getting as soft and stretching. But once again, why not just go ahead, if you're going to go with that race style mount, why not try the competition Technics mount instead, which is rubber and will probably give you longer reliability and durability. Anyway, until next time, I hope this helps somebody. Haven't made a Fiesta ST video in a while, but y'all have a good day.